Divani's fate to be decided, and Premier calls for a clampdown on illegal initiation schools. With the latest news updates, I'm Hasina Gori. Hearings begin in London today to decide whether Briton Trian Divani should be extradited to stand trial in South Africa. Divani is accused of arranging to have his wife Annie murdered in a fake carjacking in 2010. In November 2011, the British Home Secretary signed an order to extradite Divani to South Africa, but his defence said he was suffering from depression and post-traumatic stress disorder and was too ill to stand trial. The case has been repeatedly adjourned to allow him to get better, but now his lawyers say his health has deteriorated again. His lawyers have argued in previous hearings that Divani wouldn't get a fair trial in South Africa because the case is notorious and that he could be ill-treated by other prisoners. Alina Kesas reports from London.
Those arguments were rejected after South Africa promised he would be held in good conditions. The case comes down to Divani's mental health, and the court will be looking out for signs he could be faking the symptoms. If he loses the case, his legal team's last chance is to appeal on a point of law, which might not even be heard. He would then be sent to South Africa within 28 days. The judge could also decide to adjourn the case again to give him time to get better, or decide he'll never be well enough to stand trial. A decision is expected within a month.
US President Obama says Zimbabwe's economic recovery has given the southern African country an opportunity to advance, but only if upcoming elections will be free and fair. He was addressing students at the University of Cape Town. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe is seeking to extend his 3-decade rule in elections scheduled for the 31st of this month. The opposition wants to delay the poll to allow reforms designed to prevent a repeat of the bloodshed that marred the 2008 elections. President Obama says in Zimbabwe, the promise of liberation has given way to the corruption of power.
Just look at your neighbor, Zimbabwe. After the leaders of this region, led by South Africa, brokered an end to what has been a long-running crisis, Zimbabweans have a new constitution. The economy is beginning to recover. So there is an opportunity to move forward, but only if there is an election that is peaceful, so that Zimbabweans can determine their future without fear of intimidation and retribution.
Northwest Premier Thandi Modise has called for a clampdown on initiation schools that operate outside the law. Modise's call for action comes after a 17-year-old boy was found dead at an initiation school at Majimansho village in Mahikeng over the weekend. She called on traditional leaders as custodians of culture and tradition to monitor initiation schools within their areas and report ill treatment and illegal operations to authorities. A preliminary police report found that the boy found over the weekend had been hit all over his body with the sjambok. 2 people, both aged 28, were arrested and will appear in the Mmabatho Magistrates Court today. Last week, the burnt body of a 19-year-old initiate was found in a shallow grave near Ventersdorp. 5 people were arrested in connection with that incident. Catch the latest news anytime here on Newsbreak's Option 1.